Ever done something so harmless you thought, no way this could be illegal? Well, welcome to America, where freedom sometimes comes with the strangest fine print. Because in this country, you can literally get in trouble for singing the national anthem with too much style, for whistling underwater, or even for putting an ice cream cone in your own pocket. These aren't urban legends. They're real, enforceable laws that exist right now across the United States. So grab your popcorn, but maybe check your local snacking laws first, because today we're counting down 33 dumbest things that could actually get you locked up in the US. Stay till the end, because number 19 will make you question whether freedom really means freedom. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell before one of these laws turns your next road trip into a mugshot moment. 1. Singing the national anthem incorrectly in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, you'd better hit those high notes right, because messing up the Star-Spangled Banner can actually get you fined or jailed. A state law says you can't perform the anthem in any public place or at any public event in any form other than the traditional. That means no remixes, no parodies, and definitely no twerking renditions. This law dates back to when Americans took national pride very seriously, to the point where creative singing was seen as unpatriotic. So if you're thinking of adding a little Beyoncé spin to the anthem at Fenway Park, maybe keep it classic, or the law might not be clapping for you. 2. Forgetting to close your car door in California. California is all about safety, sometimes to a fault. Here, leaving your car door open or unlocked when you step away can actually be considered a misdemeanor. The logic? Open doors attract thieves, cause accidents, and create public hazards. So even if you just dashed into a coffee shop for 30 seconds, your car door flapping in the wind could technically make you a criminal. Welcome to California, land of sunshine, surfboards, and strict parking etiquette. 3. Walking an unleashed dog in Kentucky without a permit. In Fort Thomas, Kentucky, the local government takes leash laws to a whole new level. You can't just walk your dog off leash, you actually need a permit for that. The rule was made decades ago to keep livestock and other pets safe. But now it means that even if your golden retriever is a total angel, the moment that leash comes off without a permit, you're in violation. 4. Honking after 9 p.m. near a sandwich shop in Arkansas. In Little Rock, Arkansas, honking your horn near any establishment that serves sandwiches or cold drinks after 9 p.m. is illegal. Apparently, this bizarre rule came from a time when late-night honking was seen as a way to get service after hours. Imagine someone outside a closed diner just laying on their horn yelling, "Hey, I need my BLT!" So, the city banned it altogether. Now, if you honk at midnight because your friend dropped their soda, you could be disturbing the peace, sandwich style. 5. Feeding pigs garbage without a permit in Arizona. In Arizona, you can't feed pigs your leftovers unless you have an official garbage feeding permit. Yes, really. The state's Department of Agriculture made this law to prevent diseases like swine fever, which can spread through contaminated food waste. 6. Putting an ice cream cone in your back pocket in Alabama. This one's famous and hilariously true. In Alabama, putting an ice cream cone in your back pocket can get you arrested. Why? Because back in the 1800s, horse thieves used this trick to lure horses away without technically stealing them, since the horses followed the cone. The law still stands today, even though horses don't roam downtown Birmingham anymore. 7. Selling a haunted house without telling buyers in New York. New York takes supernatural disclosure seriously. If your house is known locally to be haunted, and you sell it without telling the buyer, that's considered fraud. This came from a real case in the 1990s, when a woman sold her haunted home in Nyack and got sued by the buyer, who later found out the place had been featured in ghost tours. Now, it's legally known as the Ghostbusters ruling. 8. Mispronouncing Arkansas In Arkansas. Arkansas lawmakers decided long ago that their state's name is sacred, and mispronouncing it is literally illegal. The correct pronunciation is Arkansas, not Arkansas. This rule was made official in 1881 and still appears in the state's legal code. 9. Collecting rainwater without a permit in Colorado. If you think collecting rainwater in a barrel is eco-friendly, Colorado disagrees. For decades, it was illegal to collect rainwater because the state argued that every drop was already legally claimed by someone else downstream. Imagine the absurdity. It rains on your roof, you catch it, and suddenly you're stealing from the river. Although the law has loosened recently, restrictions still exist in some areas. 10. Releasing balloons in Alabama. Releasing multiple balloons into the air in Alabama is actually a punishable offense. The logic is environmental. When balloons pop and fall back to Earth, they harm wildlife and pollute. Even if it's for a birthday, wedding, or memorial, letting more than a handful of balloons fly can result in fines or jail time. Next time, just keep them tied down. It's safer for the turtles and for your record. 11. Playing bingo for too long in North Carolina. North Carolina apparently thinks long bingo games threaten society. By law, charitable bingo events can't last more than 5 hours, and organizations can only host 2 games per week. It was meant to prevent gambling addiction, but imagine being the poor senior citizen who loses track of time and suddenly becomes an outlaw over a game of numbers. Crime never looked so cozy. 12. Driving barefoot in some states. Believe it or not, in several U.S. states, driving barefoot is considered a safety hazard, and it can get you fined. The logic is that without shoes, your foot could slip off the pedal. There's no national ban, but some states like Alabama and Ohio have local ordinances that prohibit it. 13. Owning too many female dogs in Kentucky. In Owensboro, Kentucky, you can't legally own more than 6 female dogs without applying for a kennel license. The law was created to limit breeding and reduce neighborhood noise complaints. So if you're an animal lover who just happens to adore female pups, you might unknowingly be running an illegal operation. Apparently, 7 good girls are just too much for the state to handle. 14. Fishing while drunk in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, fishing under the influence is a criminal offense. It's the aquatic version of a DUI. The logic? Intoxicated anglers might fall into lakes or start brawls over catfish. So if you crack open a cold one while waiting for a bite, you'd better stay sharp, because your next catch might be a fine instead of a fish. 15. Flirting in public in Alabama. In certain Alabama towns, public flirting is literally against the law. This Puritan-era rule was designed to maintain public decency, especially among unmarried people. While nobody's been arrested lately for winking, the law still technically exists. 16. Whistling underwater in Vermont. If you've ever wanted to test your lung power and whistle underwater, don't do it in Vermont. Because apparently it's illegal. No one quite knows who tried it first, or how anyone could actually hear a whistle underwater, but the law is real and still on the books. It's one of those archaic laws that probably made sense to someone in the 1800s, maybe an early scuba diver who caused disturbances in a lake. So yes, you can swim, dive, and splash all you want in Vermont. But if you start whistling Baby Shark beneath the surface, technically, you're breaking the law. 17. Wearing a fake mustache in church in Alabama. Alabama again, the state that just can't let people have fun. Here's the deal. It's illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter. This gem of a law dates back to a time when lawmakers wanted to keep church services solemn. Apparently, too many pranksters were slipping on fake stashes and cracking up the congregation. So now, if you decide to attend Sunday service dressed like Groucho Marx and someone chuckles, you could be charged with public disturbance during worship. 18. Lighting too many birthday candles in Illinois. Happy birthday, but not too happy. In Illinois, there's an old fire safety regulation that technically prohibits lighting more than 15 candles on a single cake without fire department approval. The rule was designed for safety reasons, but imagine being the poor fire chief who has to sign off on someone's 50th birthday cake. So if you're planning a big celebration, maybe just write your age and frosting instead, unless you want your party to end with handcuffs instead of confetti. 19. Using a fake name at a hotel in Nevada. Vegas is known for secrets, but here's one it won't keep. Using a fake name when you check into a hotel is illegal. The law was made to stop fraud and organized crime, since mobsters used to register under aliases like Mr. Smith or John Doe, but it's still in force today. Even pretending to be James Bond for fun could land you in trouble. 20. Sleeping naked in Minnesota. Minnesota's winters are cold, but its laws are even colder. According to local ordinances, it's technically illegal to sleep completely naked, even in your own home. This law came from early public decency codes that blurred the line between private and public conduct. Now, it's rarely enforced, but still exists. 21. Selling dog hair in Delaware. Thinking of making money from your dog's shedding season? Not in Delaware. It's actually illegal to sell dog hair there. The law was created to prevent people from making counterfeit fur products. Apparently, some clever folks in the past tried passing off dog fur as wolf or fox fur. 22. Driving too slowly in Georgia. Here's something unusual. Driving too slowly can get you arrested in Georgia. The state's slowpoke law requires drivers in the left lane to move over if faster traffic approaches, even if you're already at the speed limit. The reasoning is safety, but the irony is hilarious. You can't go too fast, but you can't go too slow either. 23. Having too many Christmas lights in San Diego. Christmas in San Diego might look like a Hallmark movie, but there's a catch. If your holiday decorations are too bright or too numerous, you can be fined under city light pollution laws. This rule was designed to keep neighborhoods from becoming blinding beacons, but it's turned into a war of wattage every December. 24. Running out of gas on the highway in Youngstown, Ohio. Running out of gas isn't just inconvenient. In Youngstown, Ohio, it's criminal. City law considers it a form of preventable obstruction of traffic. So if your car dies in the middle of the highway, you could get a fine and a tow bill. It's basically a law against bad planning. 25. Forgetting to return a library book in Iowa. Imagine going to jail over a library book. In Iowa, that's not a joke. It's actually happened. Failing to return borrowed materials can be treated as theft of public property. If the overdue value exceeds a certain amount, the library can report it to the police. There are real cases where people were arrested for books that were months overdue. 26. Throwing snowballs in Provo, Utah. In Provo, Utah, snowball fights can technically make you a criminal. City code bans throwing any missile or projectile at people, animals, or property, and snowballs count. So that playful winter fun in the park? On paper, it's assault. Thankfully, police don't usually enforce it, unless someone gets hurt. But still, imagine explaining that to your cellmate. What are you in for? Hit a guy with a snowball. 27. Sharing your Netflix password in Tennessee. If you thought password sharing was just a family thing, Tennessee disagrees. In 2011, the state passed a law making it illegal to share entertainment service passwords. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, you name it. It was meant to stop hackers and pirates, but it ended up targeting regular people who just wanted to binge watch with their friends. 28. Using profanity in front of a corpse in Georgia. In Georgia, it's illegal to curse in front of a dead body. The law aims to maintain respectful conduct at funerals and cemeteries. So if your friend drops their phone into the coffin and yells an expletive, that's technically a misdemeanor. It's one of those laws that make sense in theory, but in practice? Let's just say it's hard to keep a straight face when the dearly departed gets more legal protection than the living. 29. Wearing high heels without a permit in Carmel, California. In the scenic town of Carmel by the Sea, California, you can't wear high heels higher than 2 inches without a special permit from City Hall. The law dates back to the 1920s, when uneven cobblestone streets led to frequent falls and lawsuits. So to avoid constant injury claims, the town just banned tall heels altogether. These days, the rule's rarely enforced, but it's technically still there. 30. Frowning at a police officer in Michigan. In Michigan, showing disrespect toward a police officer can be charged as disorderly conduct, and that includes frowning. The law is intentionally vague, meaning an officer could theoretically arrest you for giving them a look. There's no official frownometer, but the power imbalance is real. 31. Bringing a lion to the movies in Maryland. Yes, this one's real. In Baltimore, Maryland, it's illegal to take a lion to the cinema. This bizarre law came from an incident in the early 1900s when a circus performer brought his lion to a movie theater as a publicity stunt. It caused chaos, people ran screaming, and the city decided never again. Now it's officially written in local code. 32. Playing dominoes on Sunday in Alabama. In Alabama, you can't play dominoes on Sunday because it's technically classified as gambling. The law comes from old blue laws, which were designed to keep Sundays holy. 33. Pretending to be married in North Carolina. Here's one that could ruin your date night. In North Carolina, it's illegal to pretend to be married when you're not. This law comes from the 1800s, when lawmakers wanted to stop unmarried couples from living together under false pretenses. Even jokingly introducing someone as your husband or wife could technically be considered fraud. If this made you laugh, shocked you, or just made you grateful you haven't been arrested for cake candles yet, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more insane facts from around the world. And remember, stay smart, stay curious, and for the love of the law, don't whistle underwater.